Welcome back. Ivy League and other selective universities are raising tuition and slashing budgets to cope with declining endowments. Yale University, the second wealthiest U.S. college, predicted a 25% decline in its endowment in the last fiscal year as global markets plunged. Dr. Richard Levin is Yale's president. He joins me now on set. Dr. Levin, welcome to Bloomberg News.
Nice to be here.
Sir, how has that economic endowment, the economic downturn affected endowments at Yale?
Well, our endowment did realize about a 25% loss in investment return this year, and of course we spent another 5%, spent about 5% a year. So we're actually down net 30% from where we were a year ago. But we've made substantial budgetary adjustments. We'll need to make a second round this coming year, but we're going to weather this storm just fine.
How would you have changed your investment strategy? No, I realize it's a crystal ball type answer, but knowing what you know now, how or would you have changed your investment strategy?
Would not have changed it the slightest bit.
Really?
If you look at, people have said, well, if you just had a conventional portfolio, 60% stocks, 40% bonds, you would have done better over the last year. That's true. But if you look over the last 2, 3, 5, 10 years, our strategy dominates. Over a 10-year period, if you'd been 60-40 stocks and bonds instead of our diversified asset mix, we would have realized a return of about 2% a year. Instead, we realized a return of 11.5% a year.
Sounds like it makes you want to get back in the classroom and explain this in management class.
Yeah, we're $11 billion richer because of the strategy we chose than we would have if we had a conventional strategy of the sort that all colleges and universities had before Dave Swenson.
And this is a strategy you chose, not seeing these storms on the horizon. You could not have predicted this. Yeah. How did Yale weather this storm apparently so well?
Well, my view is, in many respects, all universities have weathered it well. The ones that have followed the Swenson model for the last 10 or 20 years have done extremely well.
Which is a conservative model?
Well, it's a model that puts a lot in, it's very well diversified, but it puts a lot of the portfolio into illiquid asset categories where the markets are inefficient: private equity funds, hedge funds, and real estate investments. And those things are, they don't have the liquidity of stock and bond markets, but they produce on average higher returns. And if you are well diversified, you're just going to outperform the normal markets. We've done, we beat the averages by 10% a year.
Why does Yale depend so much on operating income from the endowment?
Because we've been so successful with our investments. When I started, 18% of our budget came from endowment spending, and today it's 44%.
Was that a rise that you could have anticipated? That's a big jump.
No, and of course, it's over a long period of time. I've been president for 16 years. But we always budget conservatively. We expect very normal investment returns, and so we're much more likely to get a positive surprise year to year than we are a negative surprise. This last year being a big exception.
The downturn has caused Yale to hold back on a few things. Can you tell us how you put the brakes to some projects you had in the pipeline?
We cut $2 billion of planned construction projects. We basically are going to postpone them. I think we're going to hope to realize all those aspirations in the years ahead, but for the next few years we just have to put them on ice.
Will Yale continue early decision admissions?
We will, and we're doing well with it. We have tremendous, we get a fabulous class.
Because, as you know, Harvard and Princeton dropped theirs.
They did. We've found that it works pretty well for us, and we do believe that the arguments that Harvard and Princeton use, we just don't see that they hold water, because they say that early applicants were disproportionately from wealthy backgrounds. But you can correct for that in the second round in the spring, and we do. We have almost 60% of our incoming students now in financial aid, so we're doing well.
And Dr. Levin, I told you I wanted to mention, because you look great, cancer survivor. You jumped right back into the fray. First off, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I had a prostate surgery on the 30th of April, and I did take 3 weeks off before commencement. I've been taking a little bit of a slower schedule this summer, but I feel great. My prognosis is excellent. I'm PSA level 0. I'm feeling fine.
Excellent. Dr. Levin, thanks so much for coming, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Dr. Levin is the president of Yale University, joining us here in studio.